What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we got a new project. I'm gonna tell you all about it. Alright, so yesterday we went to Dodge City, just outside of Dodge City, to deliver a van and pick up a van that you just saw, and we'll get a little closer to that. And I don't know if you've ever been to Dodge City, but if you have any animosity towards the wind, don't go to Dodge City. The wind was blowing so hard it was blowing 18-wheeler trailers sideways in front of us. And it was so windy we couldn't really record any video. We got a few filler shots and stuff, so you don't really get to see a whole lot about us loading it and stuff. But in just a minute I'm gonna unload this thing and kind of get you a walk around and show you everything on it, and then talk about the plan, what we're gonna do with it. So pretty cool. Stand by. All right, y'all, without further ado, this is a 1963 Corvair 95 van. And yeah, if you don't know, these were air cooled, so they don't have a doghouse up here. They had an air cooled engine that mounted right on top of the rear diff, and it had like a transaxle. Didn't really have a diff, it had like a transaxle there. And yeah, super cool little car, and it's actually pretty solid. It does have some rust, especially under this side. There's some rot along the bottom and along the back where that panel used to be mounted. The gas fills up at the front. This is where the engine would have gone. That's the transaxle still in it. The engine would have mounted here, been all air cooled, no radiator or anything. One thing that we're about to address, maybe. Alright, you got it. So this hinge is pretty much rotted off, and this hinge plate for the bottom is rotted off. So we're gonna go ahead and pull these and pull that door off so we don't mess anything else up. And then kind of get that fixed where it'll open and stuff. And if you're thinking this thing looks tiny, it's because it is. And that's sitting on the ground. We're not doing any trickery here. It's tiny. Can reach all the way across. What do you think? All right, so we got the door off. It was pretty rusty, as you can see. And looks like we gotta just rebuild these hinge holes, rebuild where this plate welds, and get that fixed. But we're not starting on that yet. We're starting on this and this, because we're pulling that rear end out because we're not going back with air cooled. And if you've watched any of my stuff long enough, you should already know what we're gonna do here. And I think we have enough room. Not 100% sure. I think we have enough room, but picture this. You ready? 6.0, 4L80, G-body 10 bolt. So the G-body 10 bolt, I believe we still gotta pull that stuff off and put this under and measure and see how it's gonna work. But I believe it's the exact right width to be the same width as the one that's in it. And it's also the same wheel pattern to match the front. This thing's like manual power steering. We don't have to run anything for that. Engine's gonna be in the back, so it won't be heavy. Should turn fine. We're gonna try to find a disc brake conversion for the front, probably for the back too, and see what we can do with that. But this thing is super cool. All right, y'all, so this is the 6L I'm using, and the 4L80, pretty dirty, and I know it's open. Doesn't matter, I'm gonna drain everything and get it all cleaned out. Right now, I'm just gonna soak this bad boy down with degreaser. All right, there we go. Transmission cleaned up really nicely, like really nicely. Engine cleaned up pretty good. The valve covers still have some gunk on them. I don't have a wire brush or anything. But I'm gonna pull these off and get them sandblasted and probably powder coated. Probably the same with this. The heads, I'll probably go through and clean a little more, but overall it cleaned up pretty good. So now I can pull the rest of this wiring harness off, get the oil and stuff drained so we can get any water in there out, and then start getting ready to fab this bad boy up in the Corvair. All right, y'all, so the engine and trans from the front of the crank to the back of the tail shaft, it's like 56 inches, right? And so we don't have to worry about putting anything in front of it because we're not gonna have a radiator here. We're gonna have to figure out a new place to put the radiator because there's not gonna be any airflow. That's gonna be inside the cab. Just not gonna be good. So I can slide that all the way forward. And if you look right here, it's there. If you come back here, I've got another mark. It's like at the front of the U-joint for this G-body 10 bolt. And you can see that gives us like 75 inches. So I think we have enough room. I'm pretty sure. If not, if this setup won't work, we aren't completely out of luck because I can always get a transmission and a rear diff out of a C5. The transmission bolts right to the diff and the engine bolts right to the transmission. So that'll shorten things up a lot and we can put that in there. I know that'll work because there's a ramp side that did it. I don't know, we just gotta see. So I'm about to get ready to take that cover off, cut a hole here, and see if it'll fit. We'll see. All right, dudes. So we got this marked out. That's like a rough shape of the transmission on the 4L80 there. I don't think it's gonna be right, but it'll be a good starting point. So we're just gonna cut this out. I'm really not looking forward to it because I hate cutoff wheels, but I already got started, so only that much more to go. So. So we cut the support here and the support here on both sides, and they were pretty simple little just like floor supports. So the front half of this is loose. The problem is we've got a pretty serious support that goes across here that's pretty structural. Now, I'm not 100% totally sure that it's gonna matter. I guess we'll see because I'm definitely gonna cut it out. Also, we have lots of goodies up here. We've got motor mounts. We've got V-bands. We've got motor mount plates, harness, exhaust bins. We've got motor mounts, bushings, exhaust tubing over there on the other side. Rock and rolling. All right, dudes, the hole has been cut. I don't know if we're gonna have to cut that out or not. That's what we're about to check, so check it out. Big things happening. We got Lester on the stand. Hoist, not stand. We're getting after it. All right, so listen, we don't want to ruin it, right? Because it's gonna look even way cooler when it's mounted, but look at this. Huh? Huh? So now, we were afraid of this, but that's gonna have to go down where the fuel tank was, so I gotta cut one more hole up and around that so that we can drop this down, raise that up, and then I can get started building my mounts. Did you notice?
Yep, that's gonna be nice.
Yeah, we might just be able to mount it right off that because that's solid stuff. All right, dudes, it's day 3. Working on the Greenbrier. We're getting ready to put motor mounts in. By the end of this video, you're gonna get to see this bad boy with the motor and trans mounted in it, ready to rock so that I can get started on wiring and fuel plumbing and all of that mess. We got 5 weeks and 1 day till we need to be headed to Texas. And I've got a ton of work to do. All right, this is the design I came up with. I was gonna use some pipe and come off of the inside over here, but rather than do all that mess, I just took a piece of, I don't know what that is, maybe 1.25 1.5 square tubing, rounded one end to match, cut a 45 on the other side, and I'll just weld it to the top of the frame rail, and then weld it to the motor mount. And then I think I can do that on both sides. What's up, everybody? It's been 5 days. I think today's day 5, yeah. It's been 5 days since I got the Greenbrier. And I've been hitting it as hard as I possibly could, trying to get this thing knocked out. And I'm fixing to do a walk around and kind of show you a final look at what I got done. And kind of finish up this video so that I can get it posted before I go out of town. I leave tomorrow to go out of town for 4 days. And so it's gonna be a few days before I get to work on it, but I'm just gonna touch on everything, okay? So, first off, this is my 1963 Chevy Corvair 95. And this was a rear engine, flat six, air-cooled van, and the 95 alludes to its wheelbase. It's a very short wheelbase. And this is a super cool ride. I think these were probably built to compete with the VW buses. These doors are over here. First part of the video showed these hinges are all rusted out. I gotta fix that. But super cool little vans. And as you can see, there's no rear axle under it. That's because I couldn't use this stuff. I pulled that suspension and transaxle and all that stuff out. And I'm doing my own custom, one of a kind, mid-engine, 6-liter to a G-body 10-bolt rear end because it's already the right width. It's the exact perfect width to go in here. So I've got it up here. I'm gonna cut all of the perches and everything off of it, and I'm putting a 4-link setup in here. It actually got delivered today to work, and I've got to pull it to the house and get started on that Tuesday when I'm back in town, or Monday evening. So the way this used to work, there used to be an engine in this compartment, and then the transaxle sat here with the axles going out like this. This is where the rear wheels went. So I didn't like that. I was missing the motor when I got this thing. And obviously I can't take it to LS Fest if it's got a freaking flat 6 in it, right? So LS Fest is May 17th and 18th this year. So I decided to put my 6.0 in there. Like I said, 10-bolt G-body rear end. And take it and, you know, hang out at the car show. I'm not going to do any of the events. Might do the burnout pad, but I doubt it. But so far, I've got the engine super clean. As you can tell in the video, got the transmission pretty freaking clean too. I got my header modified. It's a 2.5-inch header. I always just cut them down and put 3-inch V-bands on them. Got the intake cleaned up, valve covers cleaned up. Got all that stuff just sitting on there for mock-up since I'm about to leave. This is one of the cooler projects that I have going right here. It just looks like you got a toolbox sitting in the back of this van. And then whenever you open it, it's got a grommet with the wiring harness in it. My battery is gonna go here. My computer is gonna go here, standing up. And then on this side is gonna be my fuse panel. And then somehow I'm gonna do the OBD sensor, probably right here, the OBD2 port there. These 2 floors here just bolt in and out. So that'll be an easy fix. Here's a look at the interior of this thing, because it's, you know, pretty cool looking vehicle. Pretty cool looking dash. Cooling, that's what everybody asks. How I'm gonna run my coolant system to keep this thing from overheating. And I'm not 100% sure on that yet, but the main idea is to run it here. And I'm gonna fab up some brackets to mount the top of it up here, and then the bottom of it down here where it's at a slant. And then I'm gonna put some good strong fans with shrouds on the other side, blowing through. And then I'm going to dimple dye some holes, decorative holes, throughout this panel. Okay, license plate will be in the middle, but I can put some holes here and here. And then I'm just gonna try that, just see how that goes, see if it overheats. If it does, then obviously that's not gonna be a good plan, and we'll have to re-evaluate and rework that and figure out something else. But for now, that's the plan. Already covered the rear end. The bumper, I know that's super ugly. I got a nice chrome one on the front. If you look over here, I've got the nice chrome rear bumper. So that's gonna go on there also. I've got some stuff to do. There's a kink in the little unibody frame rail, whatever the frick you call that. So I gotta fix that because it's got this whole section humped up. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I may chain this to the floor and then jack this up with a bumper jack or something. And then do the same thing, chain this to the floor and jack that middle up so it kind of bends all this back down to where it goes. But I'm not super worried about that for this show. I've got something real interesting going with the suspension. It's one of the things that's probably never been done before, because there's not really a reason to do it unless you do this, and I'm the first person to ever do this. So there is one guy who did one of these Corvairs, but his is a ramp side pickup. It's not a van, and he used basically all of the C5 Corvette engine trans, rear diff, front suspension, all of that. So he didn't really leave a whole lot of this. It's a great truck. I love the truck, but I'm doing it totally different. So if you like what I'm doing here and you like the looks of what I'm doing here, then like my video, comment on my video, let me know what you think. Subscribe to my channel, and let's be homies. I've also got hats coming. I'll put a picture of those right here. Hopefully I have them by LS Fest. I'll keep everybody posted on when I'll have the hats in stock. They're gonna be about $35 plus shipping, but they're super cool, I think, super clean. And that is a good look around at everything that I've gotten done. It doesn't look like a lot, but I got the engine and trans mounted. You can see my cross members. Pretty nice right there. And we're getting it knocked out. Shop at Celestial uses shop. You're gonna start seeing a lot more of him on here. We're trying to get this whole thing going. I guess I can show you his truck. This is what he's wanting to take. This square body short bed right here. Pretty clean. This is his son's truck that he's building for him. He just sold another truck to kind of fund this build. So if all works out well, we'll both be there. He'll be in this, I'll be in this. I guess worst case scenario, I'll come by myself, but second best scenario, he comes with me in this. So thanks for watching. We're gonna cut that off here and see you on Tuesday.